Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the situation report for the day of 1119 for the 18th of March for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. And welcome back to the DPA war channel because I am fickle-minded and I keep changing my mind and keep changing shit up, and you guys get pissed off with me and we sing Hubaya together. Yeah, I'm not sure is it. Yeah, we just be happy together. Yeah, we just happy, So I bring it back because I wanted to publish the SITREP earlier, slightly earlier. Because the airtime on one channel is just very difficult to manage. That's the reason also why I have so many channels. So welcome back to the war channel. Subscribe, check the subscription, make sure you are subscribed, and we're gonna jump straight to the Kursk front. So before I start, I want to say that I will keep the SITREP. I will not go through the sources. So for example, previously in the SITREP, I talked about this is a Russian source, maybe Ukrainian source. That I will circle. No, I will not do this anymore because to make the report more snappy. If you want to know what is the details, you can click the link in the description. They will lead you to the DPA website, which you will see the mapping for yourself. So this is so we have the Russians being reported to be attacking at Gogolevka, Oleshnya, Goevo, as well as Gordanau, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Geolocation of Russian forces north of Gordanau was located. So it's the first breakout of this phallic-shaped front line at Krylovka for a long time. And then we have also Russian forces appearing at Basivka. So this, I believe, I may have reported in the yesterday's SITREP because the information was appeared before I did the SITREP. So we zoom in a bit. I did mention about this. The Russian forces geolocated. This is the 18th March geolocation. So the Russian forces have headed south along Basivka, but then there is the Loknya River around here. So Ukrainian forces could potentially still be on this other side of the river. So this is the frontline change over at this Basivka region. The Ukrainians have denied, according in their official sources, defense ministry telegram, official telegram of the Ukrainian defense ministry. Oh my freaking god! So they say that the Russian breakthrough into Sumy region is fake. It doesn't exist. So yeah, it doesn't exist now. So over in the south of Krylovka, so this Krylovka. And south of this position, this Goevo, the Russian forces have been geolocated basically at the forest north of Goevo. So Russian forces probably have advanced around this sector. There's a good chance that the Russian claims is accurate, and the Russians could potentially have already control along the entire forest region, and they're now on the verge of attacking into Goevo. That's also a possibility. So we shall see how this continue to play out tentatively. This is one of the latest information. This on the 19th of is today's geolocation. So this is basically much more newer than the SITREP. But it's my WhatsApp. No, it's not your WhatsApp. Don't worry. So that's the situation at the Kursk front. The pacing has as predictably slowed down a lot, as I already tell you guys and warn you that this is going to be the case. Because the Ukrainians still have their forces intact, generally speaking. So clearly there will be Ukrainian troops that have surrendered, but it's not in the kind of great numbers that Donald Trump said. The main reason is because most of the frontline positions are manned by squads. Some you hardly even see platoons of troops in the single front line. Sometimes it's just one squad covering 1 square kilometer. It's very few troops, and most of the troops are in the rear position in like resting, preparing as a quick reaction force, and when all the chaos broke out, they just redraw. So the troops that get stranded are often the ones all the way at the front line positions where information doesn't go through easily, or they are just too far away from the HQ, and then everybody just take their vehicle and run, and then they have to walk all the way out. And then, of course, if they fail to walk out, then they get captured. So the Ukrainian forces generally is still pretty intact. And as I said, they should have easily 3 to 6 months worth of fighting capability remaining if they continue to be attrition at more or less the same pace. So this is also why we see the Ukrainians attack over in this sector, in the Bryansk border. This is just off Bryansk. So this area here, this area is already Kursk. South of this position, this is already Bryansk. Sorry, Belgorod region, not Bryansk, Belgorod. So this is the border here. In case you cannot see, this is the border between Kursk and Belgorod. So the Ukraine forces attack here. I will still see this as part of the Kursk front because this is just a distraction. It's very, very near. We are talking about distance of the front line, like maybe only 16 kilometers. It's not really that far away. So the Ukraine forces launch a attack into Demidovka as well as Prelese. But the thing is, the attack have not been successful. They have been blocked by, I think, prepared entrenchments, which impeded their movements, and then they got spotted pretty early, so they didn't get far. So the Ukraine forces did manage to reach the road here. The armored vehicle cannot find an opening to drive up past the Dragon Thief, and then they basically got hit by FPV drone. So there is a Dragon Thief, I think, all along the road. So they were struggling to find a way in, I think. I'm not saying this is a fact, I'm saying I think. So that's the situation. According to the Russian Defense Ministry's report, they say that this attack is designed to disrupt the meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. So they attacked early in the morning, and so they carried out 5 attacks. Up to 200 troops and 29 combat vehicles was involved in the attack. 5 tanks, 16 armored vehicles, 3 counter obstacle vehicles, which is to clear the Dragon Thief, and a UR-77 mine clearing vehicle, which is I believe it's called a Comet, if I'm not wrong. So it basically fires a projectile up to a few hundred meters, and then it carries a very long chain or rope, which is all explosive. So then there is one line of explosive just explode all the way to clear the mine, open up a route where they can safely attack through. So but usually nowadays they use it as a anti-trench weaponry. So, and then 4 motor vehicles. So this looks like a legitimate, well-trained unit because they are all fully mechanized, and then they have 5 tanks as well. So this is not your territorial defense. These are well-trained troops. So they got spotted and then repelled with artillery and drones. So the alleged losses, according to the Russians, is a tank, 7 armored fighting vehicles, 7, which is basically almost half of all the armored fighting vehicles. The 3 obstacle vehicles is all lost, and the UR-77 is also lost. The 4 and the motor vehicles, which is I believe cars, 4 of them, 1 of them was destroyed. So out of the 5 tanks, 1 was destroyed. But as you can see, tanks are really more survivable. But out of the 200 troops, 60 was allegedly taken by the Russians. That means they got killed. So that's the summary from the Russian Defense Ministry. You can take it whatever you want. You can don't believe it as well, because they are Russians talking about Russian success. So, yeah, you can take that with a pinch of salt. So tentatively, there is no more signs of Ukrainians are going to push harder. I think according to the pro-Russian source, Rybar, they also never talk about more attacks. So this is probably it. So we move on away from the Kursk front into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, there's only fighting reported at Voschansk, and basically that's it from this sector. And then we go to the Voreshna front. At the Voreshna front, there's nothing in the northern flank. The southern flank is the one that all the actions are. At around the Zapadny region, Russian forces are attacking towards Monashenivka, towards Malashakivka, as well as Rakivka. However, the geolocation here is geolocation of Ukrainian forces, invalidating some of the Russian previous claims south of Zapadny. I mentioned in yesterday's SITREP, or maybe it's the Frontline Gingers report, that this is likely related to the previous Ukrainian offensive around Zapadny. So that's all from the Vorechna front. And we move on to the Kupiansk front. Kupiansk front, there's nothing much, only mention of Petropavlivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So basically an attack in this direction, but that's all, nothing particularly special. Over at the Borova front, I think I need to zoom out a bit. There's fighting reported as Zarizove towards Shekivka. This is, what is this place? Nadia, as well as Stepove, or Preletaske. So this is the attacks around here. I think I need to zoom in a bit. So Zarizove is clear cut. The fighting is along this line. This is already understood to be the case. This has been relatively unchanged, pretty much. This area here is a bit more of the interesting one, particularly the mention of Nadia, which was not a usual place to be reported nowadays, and of course Shekivka, which is ahead, which might mean that the Russians may have taken all this position. The information is from the Russian Defense Ministry, which corroborates their previous claim that they have captured Kopanki in November. So this could potentially be an advancement from a more advanced frontline position that we do not have on our mapping. And Stepove is mentioned, probably coming from this direction, or it could potentially coming from Svetokhlibove, which also was announced to be captured or claimed to be captured by the pro-Russian source. Yeah, but let's see how this goes. So that's the situation in the Borova front. In the northern flank of the Liman front, we have the Russians fully securing Nevsky, with this advance in the northeast of Balkazuravka, which is Nevsky. And then fighting is reported towards Norway as well as Zelena Dolena. So generally this situation, strategically nothing have changed. In this sector, still pretty much more or less the same thing. Over in the rest of the Liman front, we only have mention of Yampolivka by the Ukrainians, which is down fighting around here. The fact that this area here is still not captured by the Russian forces is very impressive, if you ask me. So that's all from Liman front. Over at the Sivers front, we have the mention of Sivers by the Russian Defense Ministry. And then Ukrainians are talking about the fighting at Verkhamokanyamsky. So that's about it. I think the main fighting is probably around here, particularly in the northern sector. So that's all. Over at the Bakhmut front. In the northern flank of the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported at Orikovo-Vasilivka as well as towards Markove. This one is particularly interesting because it's mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which acknowledged the Russians' control of Krychorivka, which then will allow them to attack towards Markove. So this is interesting. It's also important to note the Russian Defense Ministry did claim the capture of Novo Markovo. So, which means that the front line could potentially looking like this. Because Orikovo-Vasilivka is actually also claimed to be captured by the Russian forces, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And the Ukrainians are talking about Orikovo-Vasilivka. So there could potentially be, a different front line in reality. So let's see how these continue to play out in the northern flank of the Bakhmut front. Chasivya, as usual, we have still the Battle of Chasivya continuing. Nothing new about this. Over in the southern flank, we have quite a bit of change. So first, as a central flank, as part of the Chasivya, we have fighting at Priteshny as well. So mentioned by the Ukrainians. And over in the southern flank, near towards Mayos region, Mayos is here, we have the Russian forces attacking at Kurdyumivka as well as Ozeryanivka, with Russian forces geolocated southwest of Ozeryanivka, confirming Russians' advance in this sector. And this links us directly into the Toretsk front. Over the Toretsk front, oh my god, I have no more voice. I'm turning into Batman. Give me a second and clear my throat. And I'm now Robin. So geolocation of Russian forces in the north of Druzhba, confirming Russian advance in Druzhba region. There is fighting being mentioned here as well by the Ukrainians. As mentioned, the Russian forces geolocated off Ozeryanivka definitely is coming into play, affecting this front line here as well. And what is more shocking is today we have a geolocation north of Krimsky. Basically, this advance is shocking because this is a good 1 kilometer away from the residential area, and this also means that the Russian forces have fully secured the entire industrial area at Krimsky. So this is a bit of an unusual situation here. And then we have the Russians, we have the Ukrainians continue to talk about fighting at Toretsk. As usual, there is nothing new. We need to also note that the Russians did mention that they have captured Gorkovo, which is also Dashny. So what is the reality over here is pretty unclear, to be honest. Could the front line actually look like this? Sorry, I'm running out of voice again. I'm turning into Batman again. And then they are actually attacking from this direction. Maybe. So I shall be Batman. I shall report from the Batman voice. So over at the Skirbenivka, this is mentioned by the Ukrainians. Russian Defense Ministry. I need to clear my throat. Give me a second. Oh, this is such a difficult SITREP. And so basically that's the situation around here. Toretsk and Skirbenivka continue to be mentioned by this is mentioned by the Russians. This is mentioned by the Ukrainians. So there is still fighting in this sector. This is of course the main one. This is very, very interesting. If you ask me, this look like very, very interesting thing. Maybe there's some treasure around here that they are all going towards. No, I'm not sure. So that's all from the northern flank of the Toretsk front. Southern flank, we have still the continued mention of Oleg Centropil according to the Ukrainians. So there is still actions around here. So nothing particularly special now. This is pretty much a norm nowadays. And we move into the northern flank of the Belgorod front. We have fighting reported at Zelenopole, Yelizavetivka, and Maryolubivka. Maryolubivka. I'm now mixing up all the Ukrainian names now. So that's all from this sector. Strategically, nothing have changed around here. We move into the Minokhrad sector. So this Pokrov, Minokhrad. So this is the two major twins thingy, which is the really wanted by the Russians because they are orcs. And the Russians say that that the Russians did not say this, the Ukrainians say. I'm running out of jokes. Okay, never mind. Fighting is reported at Promin and Minokhrad. Fighting is reported at Shevchenko towards Pokrov as well as Zarizove. Geolocation of Russian forces in Shevchenko, in the northern part of Shevchenko, confirming Russians' continued presence in Shevchenko. So Shevchenko right now is still contested. The mapping here is of course looking very weird. So this definitely not reality. We will just wait for more information. Over in the Pokrov sector of the Pokrov front, maybe I should name this something else. No, yeah, I don't have a good name for now. It's going to be Pokrov sector. Fighting is reported at Kotline, Udashne, Uspenivka, and Novoalexandrivka. Of course, in the rear position already mentioned Zarizove, and fighting at Shevchenko is noted just now. So this continues. Basically, the Ukrainians continue to hold a very strong line here, so nothing have changed around this sector. And in the southern flank of the Pokrov front, we have the usual fighting at Kotlярivka, Preobrazhenka, Baranivka, and Yasinove. So that's all from this sector as well. Over at the Andreevka front, we have some interesting geolocations with Ukrainian forces advancing against Andreevka as well as geolocated in the center of Constantinople, confirming that they have penetrated back into the center of Constantinople. However, immediately a geolocation of Russian forces southwest of Constantinople makes it really complicated right now. So it's hard to interpret. Most likely, there's a chance that the Russians actually have captured all of these areas and they are pushing westward towards Rozliv from the south of Ulakli. And they kind of give up the positions at Constantinople. There's a possibility. So we shall see. Bahatir was mentioned and Oleksievka is mentioned. Oleksievka maybe is coming from the south along the road. I mean, that's a possibility. Because coming in the north this is pretty unlikely because the Ukrainians have advanced in the north. So the Russians probably advance along the main road towards Oleksievka. So that is a possibility. Bahatia is not in the picture. Tentatively, this is still pretty far away from the action. So no, so we don't have to mind too much about Bahatia for now. So otherwise, we move on to the Velika Novosilka front. The actions generally is over at Odradne, shelling at Koma, Bulatske, Privone, and Privone and Venepole. So mainly this is it, with some frontline changes at Privone is noted, where the Russian forces have advanced. So this Venepole, Privone, Russian forces geolocated southwest of Privone or south of Privone, so making some advance in this sector. Is a continuation of the previous geolocation around here as the Russians continue to make this push towards the south of Venepole or flank into the rear position of Privone. So let's see how this continue to play out. The Ukrainians have put up a pretty good defense around here so far. So let's see whether the Ukrainians can hold on to their positions. And that's all from Velika Novosilka front. Over at the Zaporizhia front, the Russian offensive in this sector continues, with fighting reported at Novodanilivka, Shebaki, Stepove, and Kayamske. So that's about it. The offensive continues, but no frontline changes noted in this sector. And we move on to the Kherson front. At the Kherson front or the Kherson front, shellings reported at Tokarivka according to the Russians, and the Ukrainians reported some attacks in the Dnipro direction. And by tradition, we just put it at Dniprovsky, but that's about it. Nothing much else in the Kherson front, and that's it. So this is the SITREP for the day of 1119 for the 18th of March. Sorry for my voice. I'm still recovering from my illness. I will just turn into Batman without my control. So hopefully this is a bit more straightforward. No more circling and going through every single source. And I'll continue to do the SITREP. It's just a matter of I put it on which channel. I decided that to put it back to the war channel, and hopefully hopefully I can do something else for the main channel that is will attract more subscribers. Let's put it that way. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, check the subscribe button, and happy birthday to those that is birthday today. And I'll see you guys in the next update.